Cool. So this is going to be a live coaching session with my client Sammy from California, North California, and we're going to cover some different things as far as not hitting the gym. The reason we're doing this is to impact more people because, believe it or not, us human beings, a lot of us struggle with the same things. We're not that different. We have a lot of things in common, and we have a lot of the same challenges. And so we're going to be going over consistency bias as well. That's one of the reasons he's allowing me to do this is because what you humans will do anything and everything to be in congruent with what they announce to people publicly, right? We talked about me and Sam, we were just talking about how if you tell just yourself, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. and hit the gym, you guys can relate, Sammy can relate how many times you've just let yourself down. Maybe you'll show up, maybe you're really firm to your word, but all of us probably have had times where we said we would do something just to ourselves and we fell short and we rationalized, we justified with whatever excuses why we missed the gym, why we skipped that workout, why we, didn't wake up at that time, why we didn't do XYZ thing. It's easy for us to rationalize. But if you told your gym buddy or your coach or your friends that you would meet them at the gym at 5:30 or 6 or whatever time, you're much more likely to show up, right? Because of consistency bias, because you're telling people publicly that I'm going to be a man of my word, I'm going to follow through with this, right? So the more people you're able to share your goals with or things that you really want to change, the more accountability you're going to have from other people to actually follow through with it. So if you want to get some changes, tell your father, tell your mother, tell your brother, tell your friends, hey, I'm going to lose 10 pounds this month. Hey, I'm gonna hit the gym tomorrow on my, on everything. Hold me to it. Hold me to it, right? You're more likely to follow through with it. One thing I wanted to go over is body with the path of least resistance, right? We're talking about how, if you're gonna, when you're trying to hit the gym or you're trying to follow through with something that's difficult, your body is going to have all these reasons to do things that require less energy because your body it wants to take the path of least resistance. It wants to stay in homeostasis. It wants to conserve energy, right? So let's say you want to, and this is productivity hack for everything, not just working out, not just diet, but everything personal development, business, you name it. Let's say you have 4 hours of work you need to do. That is going to be really hard. Your mind is gonna be like, let me just check my email. Let me just text. Let me just scroll on TikTok. Let me scroll on Instagram. Let me just play some video games or watch some TV. Let me just lay down. Path of least resistance. Your body wants to do what's easy, right? Your brain wants to do conserve glucose. Willpower. It's a great book. It's a book called Willpower. And it basically talks about how willpower is nothing more than glucose in the brain. That the more glucose you have in your brain, the more willpower you have. And that's why you want to do the things that are the most difficult for you, that require the most energy earlier in the day. Because as you go through the day, later and towards the night, you have less glucose in your brain, so you therefore have less willpower. So you're more victim to skipping the gym. You're more victim of not working so hard. You're more victim of doing that hard, not doing that hard task. You're more likely to go eat snacks or eat some bad dessert because you have less willpower because you have less glucose in your brain. But earlier in the day, that you have more glucose in the brain, aka more willpower, and you have more willpower to actually stick to the diet, to do those cold calling or prospecting for your car sales, right? Or your real estate business or whatever business you have. You have more glucose, more willpower to follow through with those disciplinary tasks that are going to move your life forward. Same thing with the hitting the gym. You'll have more glucose in your brain, aka more willpower, to go hit the gym. Now, if you struggle with what you're saying of, not hitting the gym and just scrolling, it's because of this. Your body wants to take the path of least resistance. So how do you fix this? Well, one practical thing is do the harder tasks. If it's hitting the gym, if it's eating those healthier meals, if it's doing cardio, if it's whatever business tasks, if it's doing Uber or doing prospecting or whatever it is that you do for income or business or whatever, do those harder tasks earlier in the day. It's a time hack, time efficiency. And let me put this, right? I talked about it. I don't know, where is it? Uh, why that makes you cry. You need to have a strong enough why, enough leverage of why you need to follow through with things, right? And the reason I bring this up is because do you value your life? Sammy, do you value your life?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your life made up of?
That's a great question. My life is made up of me, my family, friends,
Mhm.
going to work,
Yep.
mm, just the basics. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So would you agree that your life is made up of your time?
Yeah,
That you have, okay. So if you value your life, you should value your time. And so if you waste your time scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, your emails, are you valuing your life in that moment? If you're wasting time. Can you hear me or
no,
no? Okay. So that's why I'm saying you need to be time efficient, right? So productivity, it gives you a why. Like, hey, I do if I'm wasting my time scrolling on social media or my email or what sleeping in or whatever, right there, I'm not valuing life. I'm wasting my time, and my life is made up of my time, right? You could use that
yeah,
to spend with your family, use that time to go hit the gym, you can use that time to make money, to serve people, to help people, right? So anyway, um, another thing I wanted to cover is with any result you want to it's called I can't think of the term off the top of my head, maybe it'll come to me, but Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, he just died a couple years ago at like 100, right? And uh he it's called inversing, I believe is the term. And so basically, anytime you want to become successful in anything, you want to think about okay, if I didn't want to be successful in this, what's everything I would do? Okay, if I wanted to be as fat as possible, I would eat McDonald's every day. I would skip the gym every day. I would do this. I would do that. I would, boom. Okay, you're inversing. If you want to accomplish the opposite of what you wanted to accomplish, okay, now you just need to avoid all of those. Okay, inversing. So a mental hack you could have with anything you want to accomplish in life is think to yourself, if I could easily have this result, would I do whatever it's required to accomplish the goal? Right? So, for example, if I could get a six pack and it was a snap of the finger, would you do it? Sammy, would you get a if you could get a six pack just like nothing, would you do it if it was super easy?
yeah, of course.
Cool. So if you would do it if it was easy, you should just do whatever it takes to get it. Because the reward is worth whatever it takes to get there. Same thing with having a beautiful wife, beautiful family, having kids, getting a house. Would you do it if it was just handed to you? Yeah, I want it. It's proving that you want it, right? A lot of people justify, right? Or I think it was an Alex Hormozy quote I just read a few days ago, and I was so good, right? Is people quit on their dreams because they realize the price tag is too much, right? Oh, I want this to live this type of lifestyle. I want this money. I want this family. I want this purpose. I want this business, right? I want this body. But the price tag's too high. So they sold themselves on why they're not going to follow through with it because the price tag was too high. Now, getting a six pack or whatever goal it is, if you would do it, if you would do it if it was easy, then that shows that you should do whatever it takes to follow through with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Another thing it's from Atomic Habits. I don't know if I have the books near me, um, but it's a good book. It talks about making it easy, right? Like you're talking about how hard it is to hit the gym, like you're having all these limiting beliefs, these patterns, right? Where it's like, oh man, it's all this stuff. It's like, no, make it easy. Make it anything you want to do. How can you make it easier to get into? Get the ball rolling. Because how many times have you had all that stuff going on, but as soon as you're like 5, 10 minutes into the workout, you're feeling good.
every time.
Exactly. Exactly. So maybe instead of like to make it, how can you make it easier? Well, have your workout outfit already made. Have your gym bag already set up. Maybe tell yourself, okay, I don't really feel like hitting the gym today. Okay, let me just do 10 push-ups, right? Just okay, let me just do 10 push-ups. Maybe I don't need to drive to the gym. Maybe I'll just do 10 push-ups. Then you do 10 push-ups and you're like, that feels pretty good. Maybe I'll do 10 more, right? Make it easy. Stop having such a barrier to entry. You don't want this barrier to entry because obviously it's a facade, it's fake, right? But you just break it down by, okay, what's the first step I could take? Get into momentum. It's an Amish quote. I forgot how to say it in Amish, but the quote basically says, when you have all this work to do today, just jump right into it and it's already halfway done, right? The
Hmm.
whole idea is jump into it. Whatever it is that you got to do, what your workouts, your diet, your business, your job, right? Oh man, I have an 8 hour shift. I have, 12 hours of business stuff to do. Oh, I have all the, just jump right into it and it's already halfway done because half the battle is just starting, right? It's the same thing with your fitness journey. It's the same thing with business or anything else. Um, Something else you're talking about hitting the gym, like the number one, you were coaching yourself before we, started recording it, right? And I'm telling you, wouldn't you take your own advice? You're talking about how hitting the gym would change your whole life, right? Like
Yeah,
if you hit the gym, you all these other problems that you're having would half of them would be gone, right?
yeah,
Why? Because why you originally joined this coaching program, Tony Robbins. The first step of the triad, remember I taught you, is you got to change your physiology, change your body, change your state, right? If you
yeah,
don't earn the right state, you're not going to have the right mind, right? And so you got to change, you got to go on walks. You got to do some jumping jacks. You got to do some burpees. You got to hit the gym. You got to jump on the trampoline like Tony Robbins. You got to change your body first. If you want to start changing your mind and these limiting beliefs and these negative patterns, whatever's going on that's holding you back from making money or relationships or any other aspect of life, just do 10 jumping jacks, do 10 burpees, do 10 push-ups. Change your body first and foremost, right? That's why hitting the gym will change your life, right?
yeah.
You're talking about how change like share a little bit about that. How much is your life better when you hit the gym versus when you don't hit the gym?
When I first started hitting the gym 3 weeks ago, everything changed. It was like a night and day difference. I come out the gym, I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling productive. Instead of having low energy and feeling lazy, I was full of energy and I was eager to do the next thing. And I came up with a list of all the things that I wanted to get done that day. And by the end of the day, I was so happy that I had such a productive day. I couldn't wait to start the next day. And when I woke up in the morning the next day, I didn't hit snooze on my alarm like I normally would. As soon as the alarm turned on, I was already wide awake, ran to the shower, showered, got up, got ready for work, and got everything ready, all my meals. I packed my gym bag, I took it with me. As I was walking outside the house, the sun was barely rising, and it was an amazing feeling. And throughout that whole day, I did get tired from all the tasks that I was doing, but I didn't run out of energy. I didn't run out of, you know, I guess willpower. No, that's not a good way to put it. I think motivation or just drive. No matter how tired I got, I kept thinking about finishing the task and knocking out the next task.
Mhm.
Um, Whereas compared to the last week or so, I've been skipping gym. It's been getting kind of worse and worse. It started with one day
Mhm.
I was avoiding gym, and I told myself I'm going to, but let me take care of this or that, or just wasting my time checking my emails, even though I just checked it like so many times earlier, kind of avoiding it. And then I told myself, okay, I'll go to the gym tomorrow and I'll make sure to get that done. So it was a downward spiral, and one thing led to another. Every day that I didn't go to the gym, I ended up feeling worse the next day, doing worse the next day, being less productive, having less energy. So, yeah, gym is very important. That's right after this call, I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll hit a couple of things to help you with that understand. So it's called stacking wins, and it doesn't need to just be the gym, right? Obviously, working out and training's important, right? And then also we were talking about changing your physiology. If you want to change your mental, emotional, spiritual state, right? The greatest way to do that is change your body first and foremost. Right?
Yeah.
Your body into a peak state. It's going to make it so much easier to raise your emotions, change your beliefs, change your mindset, change your psychology, change your spirituality, right? To raise to higher levels. Start with the body, right? but stacking wins is what I'm hearing, right? And it doesn't necessarily need to be that. But if you wake up early, you crush the gym, you crush a healthy meal, it's so much easier to crush rest of the day, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need to be that because you could just wake up. I do this all the time, especially when I'm traveling. I wake up, I I drink like 5 glasses of water, well hydration. I take a quick cold shower, right? I do some Tony Robbins priming, get my mindset in the right place. I do some prayer, some scripture, some Bible reading. I do some journaling, right? I read some books, right? Um, Stacking wins. It's called stacking wins. Stack wins, stack wins. Versus the opposite is what stacking losses.
Yeah.
Slept in, scroll on my phone for an hour, skip the gym, ate a couple donuts. Like you're stacking losses, right? And
Yeah.
guess what? That goes into the next point. Momentum. Momentum works both ways. It's a pendulum. It's a pendulum swing, right? And you want to make sure you're stacking the pendulum in the right way. It's not only at the micro level, because right now we're talking about within a minute, within an hour, within a day, within a week, right? You stack wins in a day. Think about how much you crush the day, right? If you stacked wins earlier, right? Momentum. What about the week? Let's say you already crushed 3 days this week. Is it that much easier to crush the whole week?
Yeah.
What about the month?
100%.
What about the month? What if you crush the first 1 or 2 weeks of the month? Isn't it easier to crush the whole month?
100%.
What about your year? You crush the first 3, 4 months of the year. Isn't it going to be better the momentum swing to crush the whole year?
It
But
will help a lot.
the same thing though, the dangerous thing, because think how many years do you have left in life, right? Not the crazy amount, right? What about year? Like you don't can't afford to have a bad year, can you? Or multiple bad years.
I
What about
can.
a decade? If you had a bad year, a bad 2 years, that's swinging in the wrong direction for you to have a bad decade, right?
Yeah.
Momentum is so important in finances and fitness and health and personal development and relationships. Think about, is this going the direction I want? Is this momentum leading? And it starts at the minute, the hour momentum, the daily momentum, the weekly momentum, but it leads to the bigger ones, the month, the year, the decade momentum, right?
Hmm.
Momentum is a huge thing I've learned over the last 5 years is keeping positive momentum in fitness and health, in money and business, in relationships. Like, how can I keep positive momentum going towards the direction I want to go? Right? Because I know how powerful that energy, if you're going into a negative momentum, right, will ruin your life and it's harder to get it back, right? It's just like a rocket ship. Think about this. Whenever you're starting any journey, if it's business, if it's sales, if it's fitness and health, any endeavor, any journey, it's like a rocket. Do you know a majority of the energy required to get a rocket up into out of space is in the first like little bit, like all the energy to get past gravity, right? But once it gets into space, now it's out of the atmosphere, it requires like way less gas, way less power. It's the same thing in business or sales, money, relationships, fitness and health. It takes so much energy to get started the first few days, weeks, months, right? But once you've already built so much momentum and you're out of the atmosphere, it's light work. You've built those habits. It's part of your lifestyle. You got so much momentum. It requires way less energy. So I will see a common thread within myself. I have, I'm human too. I've been there. And a lot of I've coached so many clients is restarting over. Now they have to get into that harder phase over and over and over again. And they never quite break out of the atmosphere. Make sense?
Yeah.
You don't want to continue to start over and over again. Another thing I put is this related to the consistency bias, right? What we were doing this public announcement for, right? Being consistent with what you share with people in public that you're going to improve. Well, it's the same thing. If you already crushed the workout and you already had 2 healthy meals, does it make sense for you to ruin the whole day by having a whole pizza at night?
No.
Well, you want to be consistent. You're like, man, I crushed it today. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, same thing. You lost 10 pounds. Let's say you lost 10 pounds this month. You're like, shit, I'm killing it. Does it make sense that you're gonna go party all weekend and gain the 10 pounds back? Are you gonna be, is that consistent?
No.
No, especially if you, again, the consistency bias, if you have let's say your girlfriend or your wife or, your best friends or your family members or let's say you have some colleagues at work, right? And they're like cheering you on. They see you crushing the gym, losing all this weight, right? If you gained all that weight back, right? Is that going to be that you're probably not going to do that because you want to be consistent with how you've been showing up, right?
Yeah.
right? So think about it this way too, is like the more wins you stack within the gym, your diet, making money, etc., the you're going to want to be consistent with those past behaviors, right? So you want to
Hmm.
stack it in the right direction, not in the wrong direction, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that came to mind when you were talking is gravity. Think about business, finances, relationships, and fitness and health like gravity. Think about, okay, if I drop this right now, what's going to happen?
It's gonna fall down.
Because of gravity. Okay. Think about how much energy is required for this to continue to go up, right? It's the same thing with your life, money, business, fitness and health, relationships. If you slack off, it's so easy to fall down. It's gravity. Like you slack off, you're going to fall down. Relationships, money, everything wants to pull you down, right? So it requires energy, intention, focus, discipline for you to maintain and to really continue to go up. If you slack off at any point, gravity will pull you down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So have you experienced that recently when you're going to the gym, you're doing everything consistently, that was requiring discipline, focus, right, intentionality, but
Yeah.
left off the gas, what happened? You just fell down.
Back to square one, pretty much.
Yeah. Now you're
And
yeah.
it's hard to get out of it again. It's like requires more effort now than it would have if I've already been going to the gym consistently.
Mhm. Just
Yeah.
like the rocket analogy, right? If you
Yeah.
were already in the gym, you would already be out of space. You'd be floating. Take 20% effort, 20% gas. But because you let gravity pull you down, the rocket ship goes back down. Right now, you're back at square one, and it's going to require all this energy and force to get you back up, though. Right?
Yeah.
But here's the good news. Is it really that hard?
No,
You hit the gym
not really.
5 days this week. Is it really going to require that? Is it going to be that hard for you to hit the gym, 5 days in a row?
No,
Especially knowing that after you hit the gym 5 days in a row, how much easier is it going to be the next 5 times in a row?
it's gonna be a lot easier.
Same thing with making money. Same thing with your work. Same thing with applying for jobs. Same thing with relationships. Same thing with your following your macros and your nutrition, your daily habits. The first day is going to be the hardest, but tomorrow is going to be easier, and the next day is going to be easier. Now, isn't that positive? Isn't that good?
It's
Right?
great.
Yeah.
Very positive.
Cool. Last thing we'll cover is just really is a reminder, just like the Alex Hormozy quote, you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. Most of the time, you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. Again, I've read hundreds of books, right? But I'll tell you the value is in rereading the book and studying the book and taking notes in the book and make sure I'm actually applying it, applying it, applying it. Knowledge without action is meaningless, right? You need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. So it's the triad, right? You mentioned it. You were coaching yourself. You were perpetuating everything I've been coaching you on over the last like month or two, right? When we hopped on
Yeah.
the call, you're like, "Yeah, I'm struggling with this and this and this. I probably should do this and this and this." You're like, "I'm like, okay, well, why are we even here? Why aren't you doing it?" Right? Um, and so the main thing is remember the triad. First part is change your body, right? So we'll do it together. Is you got to stand, right? Let's stand up, shoulders back, tilt your sternum up to the sky, right? Obviously, we're not going to do this right now, but if you're really depressed or feeling like lazy or feeling bad, go on a walk, get some sunlight, get some fresh air, go pray, go do some push-ups, some burpees. The first step, change your physiology. Physiology is a fancy word for change your body. If that's simply going on a walk, going on a jog, doing some push-ups, doing a little dance, change your body is the first step. Okay. The second step is what are you focused on, right? When you're telling me you're struggling, right? You're focused on, why you can't hit the gym, why it's so hard to hit the gym, what you haven't accomplished, right? Versus let's focus on why you need to hit the gym, what you're grateful for, all the success, all the accomplishments you've already had, right?
Yeah.
Change your focus. So again, first, change your body, your physiology, your body. Second, what are you focused on? Is the second thing you need to focus on? Or the second step is change your focus. Okay, focus on what you do have. Focus on what you have accomplished. Focus on all the wins in your life. Focus on your why, the why that makes you cry. Focus is the second step. Third step, and changing your state. Again, we're changing your state. First is your body, second's your focus. Third is the story you're telling yourself, the meaning you're placing behind things, the self-talk, right? I've already coached you on this. You already know what to do. What do you need to do for the third step?
Tell myself a positive story of where I'm at, where I'm headed, where I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
That version of myself that I want to be at, and then just know that he already exists. I just have to step into him.
there you go. Exactly. You need change your story, change the story you're telling yourself, change the meaning you're placing behind things, right?
Yeah,
Like a challenge, for example, Tony Robbins has the quote, life is happening for me, not to me. These challenges that I'm facing are happening for me, not to me. That make me stronger, that challenge me, that make me grow. God is putting this in my life to make me level up, to teach me, right? So
yeah,
everything in life is positive. The story you're telling yourself, the meaning you're placing behind things, whatever it is, and the self-talk, right? And even if you have to fake it, right? When you have those moments of self-doubt or you're feeling lazy or whatever, remember, first change your body, second change what you've already accomplished, third focus self-talk. No, I'm healthy. I'm fit. I'm somebody who hits the gym. I'm a badass. I'm confident. Even if you don't, I'm confident. Well, say more confident. I'm confident until you believe it. I'm a badass. Self-talk, positive self-story. You do that, you're going to be moving in the right direction, right?
yeah.
All right, brother. Well, now as a public commitment to everyone that watches this, and I mean to yourself first and foremost, to me as your coach, and then whatever other clients or other people see this, again, grateful to be able to lead, to be vulnerable, and to help serve people. But they're helping you as much as you're helping them, right? What's a public commitment that you're going to make not only to me and yourself, but whoever watches this, of what you're going to work on and commit to over the next week?
Over the next week, I'm not gonna miss a single day of gym except for Sunday because that's the off day.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna miss any meals, healthy meals, and I'm not gonna consume any bad meals. I'm gonna stick strictly to the diet plan and exercise plan. So for the next week, that's my goal to be 100% with that.
Cool. Not only your goal, but that's your new commitment, your new standard.
Commitment. Yeah, standard.
Yeah, your new identity. Sammy is an athlete, somebody who trains 6 days a week, somebody who eats healthy. That's who you are. It's not what you do, it's who you are, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And it's a little stress off the top of your head, but remember, Tony Robbins has a quote: all human beings have the capability of change, but they lack the proper why, the proper motivation, the proper leverage. Why is it important for you to hit all these workouts, to eat all these healthy meals and skip eating all the bull crap? Why is it important?
It's gonna set me up to be in the right state to have a great life. Because if I miss, the gym workouts or if I eat garbage, it's going to bring me down. It's going to make me lazy and unmotivated. And then what's that going to do? It's going to lead to a negative spiral or like a snowball effect. And that would be a waste of life. But
Huh?
I value my life.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to stick with this. It's going to be the foundation of having a better life that I value.
Absolutely. Amen. 100%. Love it, brother. Cool. Well, I appreciate you sharing this with everyone, and I'm going to hold you to it, over this next week. And I believe in you. You've already proven that you are this person. It's just stepping back into that identity, stepping back into this momentum, right? And honestly, it's not that hard, is it? It's,
It's not.
yeah. So go hit the gym, brother. Let me know how it goes. And yeah, we'll touch base next week. We have the two group calls we're gonna do next week. If you want to, I'm gonna try. We'll try to figure out a time that works best for you for the group calls, and then if not, we'll do a one-on-one.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you.
Yep. All right, brother. God bless.
God bless you, man.
God
Take
bless.
care, bro.
You too, man.